Hello, my beautiful collective. It's Kai. I love being a woman, really, the chemical releases that happen in the body. Allow the fact that I fucking started with that. Oh my goodness. Allow yourself to introduce, just introduce, right? You know when you manna someone, which is when you meet someone, and you just introduce yourself. Introduce the positive thought. Maybe it's intentional, maybe it's just an overall generalization of things that like I am at peace, or something as simple as like an affirmative word of I am deserving. Something as simple as that in your mind, when you don't say it out loud and you start to plug that into your subconscious. The fears that might come up. The fears that might come up that you are not even aware were being cultivated. Your body cues to you information about where you're at. Listening to your body also comes with the fact that we can choose. We have the free will to do that. I found myself today acknowledging the old fear of feeling like I need the thing that I do to be so significant that it proves my worth and deserving and importance. And then it starts to bleed into overthinking, procrastinating, putting things off. This is like the place where I can like talk about pretty much as much as I can. That's why I typically try to be very intentional with it, as well as not take it so seriously. That's probably one of the things about being a Capricorn moon and a Capricorn Mars, is that I desire for what I say to be helpful and supportive. As if it's not, it's like, well, what the fuck was that for, you know? So it's an interesting placement to have. If you have a Capricorn moon, I'm pretty fucking damn sure you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Being a Capricorn sun, that's a very different exaltation of the Capricorn energy. Just to kind of step away from that realm, because I am spiritual. Once again, disclaimer, this is all just based on my own experience, okay? Like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, what works best for you, or that your life is baby baba blue. Use your discernment, please, when you're consuming my content or any content in general. I, trigger warning, struggle with an ED, and today was one of those days. And I feel like I'm like so quick to kind of like turn over, you know? Like, despite it happening, I could like hear my intuition be like, bro, like stop, like stop, like stop, like stop. But then it was like I was utilizing my free will and I wasn't fucking listening, and then, you know, like cause and effect. And so that can be very debilitating, and it definitely affects like not only my psychological like interactions within myself, but to kind of also correlate that with being feminine, like I was saying in the beginning of the video. The woman goes through different phases in the span of 30 days. As for the masculine, from what I've learned at least, is that they go through the same phases almost, but in a span of 24 hours. That's why I honestly can understand masculine energy to be something that's a little bit more structured, because day to day, they can set themselves up by having a regimen, you know, like things that work every single day. For the feminine, it's different because it spans through multiple days, and also because of the fact that we are also shedding eggs within our body that signifies that we are not housing a life that is being cultivated within. So in that sense, I'm like kind of like I don't really strictly cycle sync anymore, just because of my ED, it's like I really make an effort to focus on, yes, nutrition, but also like what I crave. And that's pretty new. That's pretty new to me. Like, I was very strict on cycle syncing, and like I did everything and it helped a lot. It's just one of those things where it's pretty much adjusting things to my own personal experience and like what I'm going through and what I face on a day-to-day basis. And so that's why I find myself talking about, with you guys, like my fears and the things that I'm working on and my achievements, maybe, or just my progress and my recognitions, my realizations, the acknowledgements. Because in the end, that's why I say the disclaimer, because I not only value my own self sovereignty, my own sacred sovereignty, but I also believe that no matter what other people say, it's just so important to come back to home, to come back to source, which is you. So I was just recognizing that. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna shit on myself. I'm getting kind of emotional even talking about it. It's just one of those things where, because it's psychological, so it's not really. I remember someone said one time to me, was like, oh, can't you just stop? And I was like, yeah, right. Couldn't I just stop? And it really, like, at the time, it kind of pissed me off. And even now, I'm like, I'm so glad that I decided to not interact with this person anymore, because it's just one of those things where being spiritual, being empathic, having these like connections to the ethers, it's like I still live my physical dimensional experience, which is just as important. And I used to get so worried that like even like subconsciously I would get worried that like because I have things like this that I struggle with, I wouldn't be able to like function in life, like going to school. And I guess I found myself being really proud of the fact that I decided to choose to go to school. And I honestly, the funny thing is like I didn't really think about it when I applied. So I feel like that's a really cool experience too, because in a sense I found that no matter what I'm like maybe even struggling with or being challenged by, like I can still be just this person who is living. And I was buying this gift for my friends because they just got married, and like I've been kind of overthinking like, oh, like I wonder if this is gonna be a good gift. And like even when I was younger in high school, I always knew like no matter what people said to like reassure me, that it didn't really matter just because of the fact that I was telling myself otherwise. And that was the case in this scenario, where like they were always telling me like, oh my god, I always appreciate it, like you don't really have to do that. But like I really like giving intentional gifts that like maybe you could use on a day-to-day basis, or something that you really need. That's just how I am. Like I said, Capricorn Mars, very much so. And and then I fucking bought it, and I was like, bro, you need to like, we need to just chill, because like it's a cute little gift. It's like a humidifier. It's by Jellyfer, Fer, and it's a jellyfish humidifier, and it's really fucking cute. And I was like, bro, if they don't fucking like this, then whatever, I'll keep it. But not even, like I was just like, why am I fucking overthinking this? It's like it's so ironic. It's like it's not even that like I don't understand that even if they didn't like it and they didn't tell me, it's really not my responsibility to make other people happy and like speak for them and stuff. So I find that to be an ironic thing. It just, it's one of those things where I have to recognize that my physical needs are just as important as like my mental and my emotional needs. And I I've definitely gone through this whole like spectrum of like really working on my body, right? And so about 3 years ago, I think now, I broke all three bones that connect your leg to your foot. And so I lost like over 30 pounds because I was on bed rest for 6 months. And I also lost all the callus at the bottom of your foot. Also, the arch of my left foot isn't really as much there compared to my right foot. Besides the point, it's like those kinds of things, you know, like I literally was at the weight that I thought I wanted to be at, right? And when I would see myself, I literally looked sickly, and that just bothered me so much. And I also did get physically attacked when I was very mentally, emotionally not here, because I was very depressed, grieving my friend, and having someone physically attack you obviously during a time like that is very physically traumatizing. So like those kinds of things, you know, like I recognize how important it is for me to build strength. And then now, you know, right, like bring it to the present moment. I have been working on like climbing better and being a little bit more like discerning when it comes to like moments that I need to rest. And I just find that to be so important, you know, like navigating things and understanding yourself does require a level of the nuances, you know, like there's different days, like even though, yes, like I was getting vulnerable with you guys for a moment there, but like, not to negate the fact that I have my own struggles, but to say that I'm like a lot stronger. I'm like so much fucking stronger than I used to be. And I can't treat this situation as if I am in the same mental space, because I'm not, to be completely real. It's like things have changed so much. I've gone through so many positive, negative, and neutralizing like experiences where it taught me like I have the ability. I have the ability and capacity, and I can continue to combat these things in a caring, compassionate way. That's why like I don't believe like tapping into other people's like negativity is as significant as really just seeing the negative energy within your space, within your own mental landscape, your emotional experience, and things like that, you know? And I don't know, I'm like kind of trying to word this better, but like you know, when like someone's giving you criticisms or critiques, right? But it's not constructive in any way. It's just them maybe even projecting onto you, or I don't know, like it's hard to describe because I have definitely experienced like how someone has painted me to be such a negative person that like no matter what I did or said, it was constantly them reiterating, like literally telling me that I was a bad person. And like not to like negate the way that they worded it, but like I don't want to reiterate what they fucking said to me, obviously, because it's like in that sense, as much as like it's important to hear other people out, it doesn't mean that you need to house those things. And I find that a part of me was so conditioned and familiar with that aspect of like, oh, no pain, no gain. You know what I mean? Like, no pain, no gain, or like things have to be challenging and hard in order for me to truly like make change happen, or like things can only happen if there's a lot of struggle and like stuff like that, right? And it was fucking uncanny that like I finally took a step back from this connection. I was just like, no, like you're not welcome. You're not welcome anymore. I'm done, like completely. And it was kind of coming to that resource where it's really recognizing who I really am, not listening to the ways that other people would even talk about these situations that I go through. And it's interesting because like I take all these things in a sense not to go to an extreme. So when I am in an extreme, like, oh, like maybe I'm like, no, I just don't fucking like that, and I'm like I'm pretty much being stubborn and like maybe even prideful or like egotistical about it. And then it's like I allow myself that space to process it, then simultaneously I like bit by bit come back to center. And it's not to say that center is like always being like, oh, I'm peace, love, and joy. Yes, it is, but like it's also like just being present and neutral. And I feel like neutrality is such an important experience that I currently am activating within my own realms, because that's just something that wasn't present for me as much in the past. It was always like really good or like really bad. And like I'm a Scorpio too, so it's like there is a tendency to go down that road. And so I found myself like kind of stepping back, and I was like, yeah, like I don't know anything about their situation. Also, there really is no space for me to talk to them. Like they don't want to talk to me, I don't want to talk to them. So it's not about truly understanding them, it's about giving myself closure. You know, like being able to regulate myself or detach, you know, like not to say that like there were definitely moments even today where I was like, damn, like I wish that I could just care for this person, they could feel like cared for. And I am also an older sister, so like, you know, that's definitely like a part of me, but it's not the entirety of me. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with all of these things that I really generally just skimmed over for a sec, because I like to say that I'm very spiritual, just because like that's probably one of like the most personal journeys that I've ever gone through. Like today I was walking with my dog Apollo, literally named after the sun god because my head goddess is Artemis, which I didn't even know at the time that I named my dog, but also my family dog more specifically. Also technically my dad's dog, but whatever. And I got a reading and she was like, your head goddess is Artemis. And I was like, bro, that makes so much fucking sense. But just to kind of like share with you guys, my experience with the moon is like one of the most deeply heartfelt moments that I've had with the moon was when my ex and I broke up a long time ago. But like when we initially broke up, I was so sad. I was so sad. Like I can't even say it with emotion because it's so like not present anymore. But like I would go to this spot that, yes, we used to hang out with, but it was really like a spot that was special to me. And I would sit down on the ground late at night, like for maybe like a week or two, and I would just fucking wail my fucking ass off, bro. And I would just stare at the moon, and I would just cry, and like maybe sometimes I'd scream because it was the Navy base, so no one was fucking there, and it was super late, maybe like past midnight, you know? So there is a moment like that, and it was so personal. And the fact that I'm even sharing this with you guys, because I don't even really think I've told anyone, but whatever, just gonna put it onto the internet. My Leo rising and Leo North Node is just, it cracks me up. Studying astrology is just fucking hilarious, man. But I had that experience, right? And she witnessed me, like she literally as an astrological entity witnessed me in that moment. And you know, like obviously like the very negative, just depressive as like emotions I was sharing with her, because you know that like there really wasn't anyone for me to share that with. And so at the time at least, and or that's how I felt. I, moving forward, learned that like in many significant times, I, especially when I was sad, I would look at the moon and I would speak with her, but I wouldn't say anything because, you know, she gets it. She gets it. You don't have to say shit. Like, she just gets it. And like today I was walking and I just was like staring at her and I was like, damn, you really be watching my fucking progress, bro, because holy shit, I'm so fucking proud. And I could like feel that she was proud of me. And like, I know it sounds fucking whack as hell, but I promise you, this is probably the most I've ever actually spoken from my spiritual side. It's just so, you could feel it. Like, I don't know how to describe it. So I could just feel her being very proud of me. And even for a moment, like as I was walking, like maybe she was behind me, right? So like I couldn't really see her, but then I'd glance at her, and the thoughts that were going through my mind may have turned a little bit like more negative. And then I looked at her and I reminded myself, and I just started smiling. And it was not like one of those like gleeful, joyful, like happy-go-lucky, like la-di-da-di-da smiles. It was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I've changed. It's not the same. And things are a lot better now. And I'm so fucking grateful that I went through all of those things in the past, because now I can really tell the difference. That's just it. And it's not to compare, it's just to have like versatility, you know, a diverse format. And that's why I just personally, even when it comes to being spiritual, it's like I read about things that are like maybe even not considered spiritual, but like quantum physics is very connected to spirituality. I'm just gonna make that very clear, because it's like the things that they talk about are things that people who are spiritual and spiritually in tune already fucking feel. So if you're spiritual and you want more information, I highly recommend reading about quantum physics and quantum mechanics, because I think that, or if that's something that interests you, because it's just so intriguing. And like, yeah, like I find that it's so funny because like obviously there's terminologies that like I have no fucking like preempted knowledge about, but like they're just words. Anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Like, be proud of the progress, the difference, the diversity, the versatility of what you've gone through. Like, the fact that you went through something so hard is actually to show you that you could move through that. And I might not be like religious, but like I do like to say, like, God does not give you things in your life that you can't handle. Like the abundance, even the blessings, the like recently I've been manifesting this thing. It's so funny because I like so passively asked universe for this. But like I've just been receiving things that like I'm not really asking for, but it's like I don't have to pay for anything. I don't really have to do anything. It's just being given to me because my presence is desired. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that like oh, of course, like but no, literally it kind of like is like, oh my god, I matter. I think I said this in the last video where like, oh my god, I exist, I matter. Actually no, I didn't say in the last video. I'll say that to my brother when we were talking yesterday, that like, damn, like I make a difference. And I know that sounds silly as fuck, but like really, like you make a difference by showing up for yourself every day, by facing the different things that you go through. And sometimes you have more clarity, sometimes it's a lot more silent and still. Like other times maybe like you're sharing all your colors of your life, and then other times maybe it is black, maybe it is just white purity. Like that's why like I record these videos, because it's like every day is so fucking different. Even in the span of hours, I could start to think about my video that I just posted. I'm like, I don't really agree with that anymore. And it's not to say like, oh, I need to delete that because it's wrong. It's like, oh, like I'm now seeing a different side. That's what I mean. That's why I love philosophy as well. It's like being ontological or something. I can't remember. Fuck, it's on my Instagram bio actually. But like being able to see the different sides and experience life by not just questioning, but just being curious, by allowing yourself to really see like, oh, maybe this isn't the only way. Maybe this is just the way that I'm used to, more familiar to. And then that recognition is the instant next step. That is literally all it takes. Sometimes it's in that format. Sometimes it's just a little inkling. Sometimes it's like even a subliminal like energy field. And you're just like, oh, I just feel like something's shifting. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's there. It's validating your experience for what it is. Not letting other people tell you that like things make sense or don't make sense. That's why I'm like, okay, maybe I should probably share with you guys, because like that might not make sense to a few people, and that's valid as fuck. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, that's the video. I'm kind of like, I'm really grateful for you guys. Thanks for like watching. Like seriously, thanks for allowing me your presence, because you're a live ass human being, and that's crazy as fuck. So that's why I always say like, thank you for allowing me the space to speak. Truly, thank you for being you. Thank you for being alive. And I send you guys so much love, so much support on your own spiritual journey. Bye, collective.